Hey guys, it's Roscoe. So we're back from our trip. Arrived safe and sound back into Gatwick yesterday. Long journey, long day, because obviously with the flight being at 7:30 in the morning, we were up at 4
Yes.
for a 4:30 taxi. But it was all bang on time. Got to the airport, what, about 5ish or something?
I'd say so. About 5. It took us about 30 minutes.
Yeah,
30 minutes to drive there.
Yeah. And when I was leaving Dubai the last time in 2006, it was about midnight, but it was packed, absolute chaos outside, thousands and thousands of people. Not like that at all on the way out. I mean, there were passengers and a lot of passengers,
busy, but
not loads and loads.
Yeah.
We it said for our flight check-in areas 3 and 4, and we joined one. It was, I think, 3, and was stuck behind people with. I mean, there was a group of about 6 or 7 guys, and they all had loads and loads of suitcases. I thought, and this queue was not moving at all.
Yeah.
So we saw the other one on the other side of the terminal for 3, and Mike went over to see what the state of that queue was, and apparently that one was moving a lot faster.
Yeah, it was.
So we moved over to that one, and it did move quite fast. And collected our boarding pass without any problem, because obviously we hadn't been able to print them off, but it wasn't an issue. It's not the first time that's ever happened, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just went through departures, everything. No screening or anything for corona or anything like that at either end, on either there or back. Yeah, but you saw the video of the trip report. Obviously, we had a wander around the terminal. Managed to actually get hand sanitizer. The first place didn't have any; it was sold out. But the other one did have it, but was limiting it to one bottle
One per
each.
person, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the flight itself, I mean, it was fine. Wasn't as good as the flight out. The food on that flight, you couldn't really eat any of it, unfortunately.
The only thing I ate was a bread roll. They had, what was the name of that curry?
Harry Ali Mug, and it's green.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be mainly flavoured with coriander, but it just had this weird taste, and the chicken tasted weird. I just didn't like it.
The chicken, it was cooked, but it tastes like it was just barely cooked. Whereas the one that we had, the Cormoran flight out, was much, much nicer. So I would never order that meal. Now I've tried it. I mean, it wasn't horrible or disgusting or anything like that. I was just like, meh.
Yeah, and I didn't like the pasty. As soon as I bit into it, it reminded me of one of those ones that you might get from your local grocery store.
Yeah.
The ones that last for about 8 months.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I took one bite and I was like, you know what, I'll just wait until I get
Yeah, so I had I ate what was it? I think it was strawberry pastry or something.
You had a king's breakfast.
I did, because the lady who sat next had the window seat in our row didn't eat hers and gave it to me, and so I had double pastries. I had a lot of Mike's actual the curry, because he opened it and looked and said no.
Yeah. I knew what I was gonna say. I knew what I saw.
But I mean, after a while, I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was full; it's just like I was just a bit sick of it. But anyway, whereas if it had been the Corman, it would have been nothing like that.
Oh yeah, I could have eaten 2 of those easily.
Easily, definitely. But that was flight back. Met the taxi driver. Coming through the airport, my God, it's like I've never seen anything like it. You said because I didn't actually get to really look out the window on landing, but you said there's hardly any planes.
Yeah, I saw about 4 upon landing.
Yeah.
I didn't get to look on the other side, but I could only assume that was quite empty as well. The walkway through, once we got off the A380, I've never gone through Gatwick that quickly.
There was no one waiting in line at the customs in immigration. You could choose which lane you wanted, and we were through in a minute at most.
It would have been quicker. Even I think the only reason we had to wait so long is because they probably didn't have many staff for the baggage.
Yes. Yeah, it took the bags a while to come. Oh, little tip for you: if you're flying on the A380 back into Gatwick, the baggage comes on 2 separate carousels that are not linked, so you have to check both of them. Yeah. And I couldn't remember what my luggage looks like because it's a fairly anonymous black suitcase. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do something to make it stand out a bit more. But yeah, we were home not much longer than an hour after getting... an hour and a half maybe after stepping off of the plane.
Yeah, I think the M25 or M23
was closed that weekend for road
But luckily
repairs.
we had a knowledgeable cab driver. Yeah. We didn't want to take the chance of travelling home on London Transport.
On a Sunday with everything that's going on. So, yeah. But, yeah, not a bad trip back. I would definitely recommend Emirates overall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So much legroom on that plane, even 10 abreast, was not noticeable. Very comfortable.
Yeah, because usually when I've flown, usually you get that numbness in your in your backside after a while from sitting for so long. But in the Emirates, you could put your chair back and not really impede anyone behind you too much. Yeah, it was a comfortable flight.
Yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend them. And the service was good. And I know the food on the flight back was not really to our taste, but that's probably just a subjective thing. Definitely, there were people who didn't like the korma, for instance. I expect. Yeah, but yeah, great airline. Great flights both ways for the most part, but glad to be home because I've been reading about all the restrictions that are now coming into place in Dubai. So
we just missed that.
Yeah, Atlantis Aquaventure Park is now closed, but I mean that's probably a good thing for them financially because you saw in the video how empty it was at the ticket area.
Yeah,
and also the Burj Khalifa is now closed to tourists. Cinemas, gyms, all sorts of stuff. Museums, what have you. So we went there at the right time where it was like empty, so you got that higher level of service, and we were treated like kings the whole time we were there.
Oh yeah, especially on the last night.
Especially on the last night in that restaurant, and then in the Storyteller bar with the whiskey cocktails. But we got out at the right time as well, and we were lucky we could get out. Lucky because in a few more days, who knows?
Yeah,
Emirates has grounded 20 of its A380s. Loads of destinations are not running.
Yeah, and there was definitely a sense of tension in the air on the last day. Anyway, I definitely picked that up when we was at Dubai airport.
Yeah, and the staff as well. The night before, when it was the three of the waiters who were in the bar, was saying, "Yeah, I mean they're cutting costs."
Yeah,
and it's like because we got the golf cart from our hotel to the one next door. It's like, yeah, I mean they're really desperate to justify their jobs because they'll get caught like that somewhere out there because there's no guests, so they don't need them.
And upon reflection, when you think about during the time we were at the Mina Sihahi, I can't even say it.
The Mina Sihahi, it was empty.
Yeah, how it's like we said, we saw one guy on our floor.
And thinking about it, it's like it was from the very start of the trip that we noticed. But with hindsight, it all came together. How much fewer people are flying. Like when we first got to Gatwick and checked in at the Emirates counter, hardly anyone there. But I thought maybe that's just because we're at the beginning, and even though the flight was full. But when we arrived at the airport, that long walk that we had, the concourse was essentially empty apart from basically our plane having gotten off. When we checked in at the hotel, it was so quiet and I couldn't believe it. Think about this:
if you look at the staff to guest ratio.
Oh, it was more than 1-to-1 easily.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, I think we jokingly said, looking down the corridor, it looked like something out of The Shining. That's because
it was empty. Like there was more guests in that hotel.
They might not have all been alive, but they definitely outnumbered the guests that we saw.
But also, like when we were on the tram going to the Palm, at the beginning of that video, the entire concourse of that station empty.
Yeah.
And how empty the monorail was and how empty it was around Atlanta. There were people there, but it wasn't hordes and hordes of people. No.
You could get in and out pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
At no point did we have to spend time queuing.
No.
At all. And I'm not saying they are not efficient out there, but it was quite obvious.
Yeah, definitely. A big decline in visitor numbers. And like walking through the old town by the creek, that was not very busy. I would have expected that to be a lot busier. Same with the marinas, and yet all of the restaurants that we went to, empty. Yeah. But I mean, it was a great trip, and we were lucky we were just at that right point where that actually played to our benefits because we really did feel like we were treated like kings out there. And I knew that we would get that great level of service, but it was above and beyond because of how desperate they were. Yeah. It's like you were saying, the guy who remembered that you like to have some bananas at breakfast would bring them without being prompted.
Yeah. It was something we could take advantage of, but we were very aware of the reasons behind it.
And I remember now on checking because I remember saying to you, I would have thought this would be more people checking in. Again, I still thought we might have been on the flight that missed the different departure waves just in that window. But thinking about it, the lad who was checking in, he was really cagey in answering that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was actually. I think we picked that up straight away.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. And the Barasti bar, which you would expect to be heaving, there was a couple of dozen people clustered around the bar, and then there's all the various seating areas beyond where it thinned out a lot.
Yeah. And I got the impression that a lot of those were probably coming from other hotels.
Yeah.
Because
none of them were guests.
We didn't see any of them in the hotel that we were at.
No. But yeah, so it was definitely having a big effect. But like I said, it was a fantastic trip. There's so many great things. The Dune Bash, and that was just amazing. We both had such a great time with that and everything. I would definitely recommend that. And I was trying to remember what else we were doing. So the Dune Bashing was the main thing on that first day.
Yes, followed by the meal and the camel riding.
Yes.
What else?
And the Arabic dress.
Yeah, I feel like there's
and I got the falcon on my arm, and we
Yes.
took our pics in the desert and stuff. The desert was amazing, beautiful.
It was Tatooine, innit?
It was definitely like being on Tatooine, yeah. But that's another thing that I noticed. I watched loads of videos about the Dune Bashing before we came in. You saw some of them too, and I'm going to use the word again. Flotillas of cars following each other like a convoy. It was not like that. No. There was a lot of cars, but I was thinking there's definitely fewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even at the Bedouin tent, the eating areas around the central stage,
they had catered for a larger number than was present anyway.
Definitely,
that was a hard.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, so many things were just empty, and we went into the Adidas store and Hamleys in Dubai Mall, and pretty much empty there as well. But yeah, it was a fascinating trip seeing it from that point of view, and we did really enjoy seeing Atlantis as well, walking past it and everything, because the weather, that was the hottest day and also the most humid. Yeah, and like I said, the meals we had were top notch every single time.
Oh yeah, especially that final meal.
Yeah, and the room service that we ordered was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise actually. Yeah. I wasn't expecting those spring rolls to be
as big and as tasty as they were. And the fish cakes were great. The fries were fine as well. That cheesecake was beautiful. I didn't actually get to try any of the bread rolls.
Yeah, we were stuffed.
We were stuffed. It's like, oh, I feel sick just looking at it. Well, that's because the restaurants were closed. Yeah. But yeah, and the meal the last night, absolutely top notch. The extra service and that baklava, and then them taking us to the.
Yeah, I don't even eat ice cream, and I ate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the effort had gone to as well for that. But yeah, we had a great time, but definitely it's struggling out there. So yeah, I mean, I would go back there once everything is calmer and everything.
Give it some time.
Yeah,
let's just see how things pan out. But definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
In regards to how long you would recommend someone stay out there, what would you suggest?
For families, I mean, I would say it probably would be a week.
Week max for a family holiday, especially if you went to Atlantis.
Just the expense for one.
Yeah. And you have the option of going to view other areas and going to the malls and so on.
Yeah, and a lot of people stay in two hotels, Atlantis and then another one for a few days. But otherwise, it's more of a long weekend sort of destination. Say, if you're going with some mates or like we did, or say it's like a couple going, because it's one of those places after a while.
Yeah,
you know,
the dream's got to end.
The dream's got to end, and also it is expensive as well.
Yeah.
And there's only so many things you can do in Dubai, I guess. Because if you're not into shopping, all that sort of stuff, or if you're not into beach holidays or that sort of stuff, it's like, well, it's a bit hit and miss. Yeah. I mean, we like those, but we also like having adventures as well. So we had kind of a mix. We didn't spend that much time on the beach at all. It's just that video. Fact, that's the only time we spent on the beach.
Probably about half an hour max.
About half an hour max on the beach.
Yeah.
We went to the Barasti once on the first night because I wanted Mac to see it because of all of the views you see of the skyscrapers in the background, which you also saw from the beach as well. And so yeah, it was great being down at the beach. But you need to do stuff like the adventures, the Dune Bash and all that other stuff. But yeah, we wanted to do the astronomy in the desert, and it turns out that's completely separate. That's 1,500 dirhams each.
I was like, no.
No.
And even then, I think, wasn't there things on it that you couldn't do?
It didn't include the Dune Bashing, and the one that specifically mentioned about the falcon on your wrist. there was something that it didn't include. But I mean, when we were stopped in the desert to take our pictures, there was a guy there with a falcon, and I paid 10 dirhams, £2 to get my picture taken with it on my wrist.
Yeah.
And I was happy with that. And they did have that also at the Bedouin tent, but as I'd already had it.
Likewise. He came up. I think that was the same guy that dressed us up.
It was, and he actually, when he was doing that, the falcon was just on its perch. He didn't actually bring it over to us, but yeah, got great pictures from that as well. I had to pop those over to you actually, because I've got all 6 of them. But yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic experience, like I said, and just going through the city was interesting as well on the tram, because it raises up until you get the Sheikh Zayed Road.
I've got some great photos, and remember, what was that building? That shape?
Oh, the frame.
The frame.
And that's closed as well now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because as we were going past
it was catching the sunlight. It was like it was made of gold.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Sight.
Yeah. So, and all of the buildings around there along the Sheikh Zayed Road are really impressive architecturally. Yeah. It's good that their tram line, it's not like here where the stations, the names are a bit anonymous. It was like Emirates Towers, Burj Khalifa, Internet City. That? Oh, that was one thing.
The next station is
this. And I didn't notice this till we were coming back, as when we're coming back on the Palm monorail, the terminus station where you start and where it ends. It's called Gateway Station, like in Aliens. So, if only Dee had been here, he would have picked up on that straight away, because I just never noticed. But yeah, that was empty as well, that station. And the car park that you have to walk through, empty.
Yeah.
A couple of high-end cars, but yeah, it was like that everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it was a great holiday, and, you just...
Great for us.
Yeah, and then certain moments it was like the signs of the apocalypse. You could imagine some sort of World War Z type thing going on outside.
Yeah, while we're in our bubble. And it's like being in a bubble as well, being a tourist in one of those high-end resorts. But yeah, they were all desperate for their facilities to be used, basically.
Yeah.
And the breakfast place, I mean, we sat outside in the Mina Siyahi lounge.
Yeah, facing the ocean.
Facing the ocean. But I mean, there's a fairly large seating area inside. There's 2 or 3 people in there.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 or 8.
And they could probably accommodate about 80 in there.
At least.
And
probably 50 outside.
And if you guys have a look at the video of what Ross did when he's just panning across the breakfast area.
Oh yeah, you see, there's no one.
There's no one, and also nothing has run out.
Nothing has run out. Think of all the wastage of that food as well.
Yeah, and it's high-end food. It's not just your basic Tesco croissant.
Yeah,
not that there's anything wrong with it.
They'll probably make the croissants there.
Yes,
they make the pancakes and everything, and the crepes.
Well, again, staff to guest ratio in that kitchen area, it was 2 to 1 at least.
Yeah, and even though there was no more than 8 dozen people outside having breakfast, there was 3 or 4 staff circling around to see if you needed anything, to take stuff away, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were at the point, as I said, where it worked to our advantage before it became bad, shall we say. If we had been out there longer, it would be a lot more noticeable that there was a lot fewer stuff going on. Because we went down the gym in the hotel a couple of times. All gyms now closed.
Yeah.
And they're going to be checking as well, apparently. They're complying. And Atlantis Aquaventure Park is closed. But then again, so are all the Walt Disney theme parks now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we managed to get through in the last window. But that was very apparent on the last night. I definitely got a sense of that when we were in the bar having that last drink, which was an amazing drink.
It was an
Have
amazing
you uploaded
drink.
that up?
Yes, that one. That's the Cocktails in the Smallest Bar in Dubai video.
Okay, yeah, that was a cool drink.
Yeah, it was very nice.
You definitely got a sense. It was almost like a long goodbye.
It was like a long goodbye. And I certainly felt it like that way as well. It was like, we need to leave to go back to our hotel, but we didn't want to. It was a few more moments, and we took our time leaving. And we did a little bit of filming in the Westin as well, because that was beautiful inside the bit that we saw from the back where the Baba restaurant is.
Did I give you that video?
I'm
the
not
bit when
sure.
I'm walking back from the bathroom and then it comes back to you.
No, I don't send that one
I'll
to
send
you.
that to you, because that's it gives a good panorama of everything that's in there.
Yeah. That was a beautiful bathroom in the Westin as well. And in Atlantis as well, the bathrooms there's great big seahorses either side of the mirrors.
And mermen.
And mermen. It's like, like the male or female signs that you get for bathrooms, but it's like a merman and a mermaid, and he had his trident.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little touch as well. But obviously Atlantis, it would be like that, I suppose. But yeah, guys, definitely a destination I would recommend when things are more settled. Expect you're going to get not rinsed necessarily at some point. You'll get collared.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. So brush up on your negotiation skills. I was quite impressed that I managed to knock a third off. I still suspect we could have gotten it for half price, but it's like... Yeah. But that guy was probably also thinking some business is better than no business.
Yeah.
Considering how...
Well, he was clearly starting high.
He was, it's starting high.
And watch out.
2,500 dirhams.
Yeah. Watch out for the line of very special price for you. All right?
Yes.
Because it will be followed
because today is X, we have special offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us, particularly that day, is because it was Friday, Holy Day, special offer for Holy Day.
But if it was Saturday,
it would have been something else.
Because it's cloudy.
Because it's cloudy. Yeah. Oh, so yes, Obama and the Professor. Yeah. He called us.
Yeah. Well, you might have seen that in the video.
Yeah, I guess you've seen that one as well. But yeah, fantastic time. We'll definitely go back there at some point. And I would definitely stay at the Mina Siyahi again.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Because that was just a great
hotel. I'll be curious to see what the West Inn is like as well.
And to be honest, when we were checking things, the prices kept fluctuating. So one day the Mina was cheaper, the next day the Western was cheaper. It was kind of this, and I always wanted to stay at the Mina, but there was one point, I think the price fluctuated.
Well, I think now you know why.
300 quid more expensive than the Western. So, hold on a second. But then the next day it flipped.
Well, I think now we know why.
Yeah.
Considering what was going on in the backdrop.
Yeah. But yes, either of those hotels definitely you could stay in. Yeah.
They've earned their 5 stars.
They have definitely earned their 5 stars, definitely. And that's the first time I've ever had anyone take my luggage to the room.
Yeah. And I think when we were telling the guy we were going to check out the next morning, he was like, "Oh, do you want anyone to come and get your bags?" He was really pushy about that. It's like, again,
and that was the thing. Afterwards, I thought we should have let them do it. But something else I've just thought about now, and I don't know if this would be standard, but several times over the course of the holiday, when we were still in the room in the morning, the head housekeeper knocked on the door to check if we were happy with how the room had been cleaned, and if we needed anything restocking or anything like that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I'm sure at least 3 times in a day you would find new chocolates on the bed.
Yes. Yes. Wait 1 second, I'll quickly show you, because I've got some beside you.
You actually kept the chocolates? Okay.
These, like the little hotel chocolates you get on the pillow and stuff. So yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 of these that I haven't eaten yet. So yeah, that was very nice.
You've been storing them?
I have been storing them.
Okay, I thought they were gone. Okay, all right. Yes. Now I know. Yes. Now I understand how things work.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess we shall wrap this up now, because I think the iPad's probably about to run out of storage. But yeah, fantastic holiday.
Yeah.
Highly recommended, that hotel specifically, and Emirates as well. Obviously, everyone's experience will be different, and these things are always subjective. But for us, it was fantastic. And I hope you guys enjoyed all of the videos that we uploaded. There's a bunch more, like the ones I took on my phone that I haven't uploaded yet, camel riding, all that sort of stuff. There was a walkthrough I did of the A380 yesterday, but I got stopped about 2/3 of the way up and told I couldn't film. But I thought I'd stopped filming, but it was still filming, but the camera will be like, this or something, or black. So I shall upload that, and we'll see how that goes in due course. The outtakes. Yes, I know you guys love my outtakes. And thank you all for your comments and everything while we were out there. Very much appreciated. Yes, indeed. So there you go, guys. That's just our recap of the Dubai holiday.